Last night, Israeli terrorists brutally murdered five Al Jazeera journalists by bombing a tent designated for journalists in Gaza. The journalists massacred by Israeli terrorists were Anas al-Sharif, Mohammed Qreiqeh, Ibrahim Zaher, Moamen Aliwa, and Mohammed Noufal. Unlike in the past, the Israeli terrorist outfit called the IDF was quick to confess to its heinous crime, as reported by the British rogue organization, the BBC. I call it rogue because even when Israeli terrorists had publicly confessed to killing members of the journalistic fraternity, the BBC was busy amplifying the Israeli lie that the victims of the barbaric act were Hamas members.
An Israeli raid has killed 5 members of an Al Jazeera news crew. Israel's military says it killed the network correspondent Anas al-Sharif. Al Jazeera says another correspondent, Mohammed Qreiqeh, and camera operators Ibrahim Zaher, Mohammed Noufal, and Moamen Aliwa were also killed. The strike hit a tent for journalists outside the Al-Shifa hospital. Al Jazeera says the attack was punishment for Mr. al-Sharif's extensive reporting from northern Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces accused Mr. al-Sharif of being the head of a Hamas cell that planned rocket attacks. In a post on X, it added, "A press badge isn't a shield for terrorism."
Isn't it extraordinary that these BBC representatives have absolutely no shame in spreading Israeli lies with a straight face, even when members of their own community have been killed and the killers are publicly flaunting their murderous act? This tells you everything about this organization funded by our hard-earned money called the license fee. Now you understand why more and more people are canceling their license fee. I can't wait for the day when this genocide supporting organization is completely defunded. They want to be a part of Israel's genocidal campaign, then they should seek funding from their masters in the settler colony built on the stolen land of Palestinians. Don't scavenge on our money. BBC Radio 5 Live presenter Stephen Nolan read out the last message of Anas al-Sharif. Anas knew that Israeli terrorists, with the help from the bloodthirsty genocidal maniacs from the West, had made up their mind to kill him. So he had penned a gut-wrenching message to be read out after his death. Listen to this piece of audio.
An hour after Anas al-Sharif's death, he had written a message earlier this year, which was then posted on X an hour after his death today. And I want to read, this is not all of it, but I want to read some of it to you tonight. And it says the following: "If my words reach you, know that Israel has succeeded in killing me and silencing my voice. God knows that I've given all my effort and strength to be a support and a voice for my people since I opened my eyes to life in the alleys and streets of Jabalia refugee camp. I entrust you with Palestine, the jewel of the Muslim world and the pulse of every free heart in this world. I entrust you with its people, with its innocent children who were not granted the time to dream or live in safety and peace. Their pure bodies were crushed under thousands of tons of Israeli bombs and missiles, torn apart, their remains scattered on the walls. I urge you not to let chains silence you, nor borders restrain you. Be bridges towards liberating the land and the people until the sun of dignity and freedom rises over our stolen homeland. I entrust you with my family. I entrust you with the apple of my eye, my beloved daughter," he writes, "Sham, whom fate did not allow me to see grow as I dreamed. I entrust you with my dear son, Salah, whom I wish to support and accompany until he grew strong, carrying my burden and continuing the mission. Do not forget Gaza," he writes, "and do not forget me in your good prayers for forgiveness and acceptance."
The daughter Anas talks about in this message can be seen in the next video, where both were discussing Donald Trump's plans to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
بابا
نعم.
ترامب بقول بده يطلعنا من غزة، انت بدك تطلع من غزة؟
لا، تطعم في غزة.
بدك نضلك في غزة؟ ليش؟
عشان بحب الغزة.
انت بتحب غزة؟
اه.
يعني بدكيش تطلعي؟
اه.
طيب بدي اسافرك على قطر،
ولا عطفا.
على الاردن،
لا.
على مصر،
لا.
على تركيا،
لا.
على اي دولة؟
أنا تطن في الطلعة.
بدك تضلك هنا في غزة؟ يعني مش طالعة؟
بس طالعة من المرة.
مش طالعة نهائيا؟ بالمرة؟ طيب قولي لهم احنا مش طالعين،
احنا بس طالعين.
صامدين هان.
صمتين هنا.
يا روحي.
Watch another clip of Anas with his daughter Sham when both were united for their annual festival called Eid this year.
وين راح؟ عمري وين انت؟ شتله وين انت؟ انت قول صح. وين صلاح؟ ليه ما جبتي معاك؟ ليش ما رضيتي تجيب صلاح؟ يا روح.
This is the man Israelis declared Hamas leader to justify its murder. And you still think the BBC doesn't know why Israeli terrorists have routinely declared the victims of its barbarism Hamas supporters? This is what Nazis did to demonize Jews in the Second World War. And the modern day Nazis from the settler colony of Israel are doing exactly the same to Palestinians, their journalists, the doctors, and everybody else who they see as potential threats to their survival. And the BBC, just like their political masters in the West, has zero shame in amplifying this blood libel. Now you understand why the Keir Starmer government in the UK was so quick to bring in a legislation to declare Palestine Action a terrorist organization. The easiest and most effective way to crush any opposition to your genocidal act is to demonize the victims and their supporters. History is replete with such examples. The same racist and genocidal West had once declared Nelson Mandela, and his organization, African National Congress, terrorists. Britishers did the same to freedom fighters of India, the country where I come from, declaring them terrorists and committing unspeakable atrocities on them. Closer home, the same bunch of people treated Irish freedom fighters in a similar manner. And it's always been the same bunch of countries around the world, the US, the UK, France, Germany, etc. You would never find these countries being on the right side of history, ever. There's something about these countries and their fascination with the bloodshed of innocent people. The government may change in these countries, but their core ideology, the genocidal ideology, remains static and constant. People like Anas have been real heroes. There are absolutely no two ways about it. History would remember them as the bravest who sacrificed their lives to document the Gaza Holocaust. Without them, the world wouldn't have seen the real face of a settler colony called Israel. Whatever little the likes of the BBC, the CNN, and others in the West were able to show on Israeli brutalities in Gaza was also because of heroes like Anas and other Palestinian journalists. And instead of fighting for their rights, the BBC has chosen to amplify the Israeli lie to demonize these people, the real heroes in their death. The West have issued their meek response, but what did we expect from them? After all, they have been active participants in this modern day genocide. That's why I say that these genocidal maniacs claiming to be civilized are forever going to carry the stain of Palestinian blood, the blood of tens of thousands of children and babies. They will no doubt face karma in this world and find a special place in hell hereafter. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you do think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.